Hello Internet, Dyce Quirk here, and in this video I'm going to be telling you about the weather, festivals, and events that take place in the month of December in Japan. And we'll also talk a little bit about what Christmas looks like in Japan as well. So if you're new, welcome to Dyce Quirk, where we're all about helping you experience Japan. And so, with that said, let's not waste time and let's get to it. Japan in December has a few unique features compared to other months near the end of the year. First off, there's almost no rain, which is awesome. Second off, you really start to see the temperature drop in this month, and as a result, the skiing scene in some parts of Japan is just beginning, anywhere from mid to late December. However, depending on where you're located in Japan, the temperature can be vastly different. For example, the most southern portions of Shikoku can experience temperatures as high as 54 degrees Fahrenheit to a low of 45 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas Sapporo can experience a low of 24.6 degrees Fahrenheit to an average high of 35.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Having said that, the main cities of Honshu and Kyushu hit an average temperature of 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Because of lower temperatures, students being in school, and also tourism being at a low point, this is an excellent time to go see some of the most popular sites in Japan. And that's because there's less crowds, there's less people on public transportation, and also you might be able to snag a cheaper room at some hotels as well. However, after December 23rd, most schools are releasing students, and a lot of people are starting to go out to celebrate some of the fantastic festivals in December. So make sure you take that into account when you start planning your own trip. Speaking of festivals, I got a number of them that I want to share with you from the month of December, starting with 3 separate purification events. There's the Akiba-san Golgen Hibuse Matsuri, which takes place on December 6th in the Ryokaku-in Temple in Kanagawa Prefecture, along with Hiwatari Shinji, which takes place on the second Sunday of the month of December in Nagoya in Aichi Prefecture. Both of these events feature Hiwatari. Hiwatari translates to fire to walk across. And Hiwatari is actually a way of attaining purification in Japanese Buddhism. Both of these have a few nuances though. For example, the Hiwatari Shinji actually is supposed to offer protection against fire for anybody that attends. And the Akiba-sen Gongen Hibuse festival, it features monks that demonstrate some traditional sword, axe, and archery rituals that are supposed to be an offering of thanks for the water and fire. Now, our third purification festival takes a more chill approach to purification than the last 2 events we mentioned. In the Misogi Matsuri on December 9th in the Katsuragake Shrine in Gifu Prefecture, that's a lot to say, you can find men dressed in loincloths as they prepare themselves to be purified. And the way they go about purification is they walk through the Nagara River in the middle of December. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I could see that as quite a refreshing experience. Then, if you're interested in Japanese samurai culture, you're definitely going to want to check out at least one of these 3 events, which all take place on December 14th. There's the Ako Gishi Sai Matsuri, which takes place in Ako in Hyogo Prefecture. Then there's the Yamashina Gishi Matsuri, which takes place at the Bishiman Temple in Yamashina, Kyoto. And lastly, there's the Gishi Sai Matsuri, which takes place at the Sengakuji Temple in Monatoku, Tokyo. All 3 of these festivals celebrate the 47 Ronin, or Wandering Samurai, who avenged their master Asano's death in 1703. Essentially, they just laid low and they planned for 2 long years so that they could kill the adversary of their master Asano. Their master's adversary's name was Kira Yoshinaka. And after they killed Yoshinaka, they actually brought themselves in, turned themselves in, and then committed seppuku, which is basically like ritualistic suicide so that you can retain your honor. And honestly, this entire story with the 47 Ronin is celebrated in novels, kabuki, movies, festivals like these, and just so much more. Honestly, if you had to go to one of these 3 events, I would totally choose the Gishi Sai Matsuri that happens in Tokyo, just because you can actually go to the gravesite of Asano and his 47 Ronin. Just seems kind of cool to me. Okay, now, I don't know about you, but I love to go to flea markets or outdoor markets just because you never know what you're going to find at them. And so, if you're like me, these next 3 events may really interest you. First, we have the Setagaya no Boroichi, which takes place in Setagaya-ku, Tokyo. And it takes place from December 15th through the 16th, as well as January 15th through the 16th each year. At this event, you're going to find numerous stalls as well as numerous crowds of guests flooding the streets at this flea market in Tokyo, and honestly, you never know what you're going to discover there. Next is the Asakusa Kanan Hagoita Ichi, which takes place from December 17th through the 19th at the Sanpoji Temple, which can be found in Asakusa, Tokyo. This event's not quite as big as the last one I mentioned, but it's still definitely worth a look. And third is the Shimai Kobo, which takes place December 21st at the Toji Temple in Kyoto. Now, this is the very last festive market of the year, and it has a whopping 1,600 plus stalls that sell food, antiques, secondhand goods, and just about anything you can think of. So definitely, if you are a fan of flea markets, check this one out. Next, we have somewhat of a bizarre festival that takes place on December 17th called the Akutai Matsuri, or the Cursing Festival. At which, first off, I found this a little bit strange, okay? But if you go to a Tago shrine in Ibaraki, you can find monks dressed up as Tengu yokai, which are the yokai with the red face and the long red nose, and they all have staves, and they go from shrine to shrine placing offerings. Now, at the same time, there are huge crowds of people that'll wait for them to finish placing the offering, and then they'll try to steal it for good health or good luck, depending on what they grab. But the monks, their job during this festival is to try to prevent people from getting the offerings with the staves. Yeah, that's a festival, I guess. Next, let's talk about Christmas. But first, if you found this video helpful or informative, please remember to smash that like button. And if you like our content, remember to hit the notification bell and turn on notifications. We're trying to put out content more regularly, and we don't want you to miss any of it. So, what's Christmas like in Japan? Well, it's just like here in America. No, it's not. But in Japan, they think it is. Honestly, the culture and traditions that Japan celebrates for Christmas are an interesting anomaly, because most of them are based out of advertisements and movies that came to Japan from Western culture. And they also stripped out all of Christianity from the holiday, or all aspects of Christianity from the holiday. So if you find yourself in Japan during Christmas, you might find it a little bit strange. Although some houses in Japan will decorate the inside of their house with some lights and a tree, assuming they have kids, most people in Japan don't do that. Instead, they'll go over to large public venues where they put out huge light displays for people to go and enjoy. And although kids still enjoy gifts on Christmas, they're actually looking more forward to the bigger gift-giving holiday, which in Japan is New Year's Day. Things really start to get different, though, when you look at what each country focuses on during the holiday. For example, Westerners typically see Christmas as a time to be spent with family, whereas in Japan, it's seen as a time to be dating someone. In fact, Christmas Eve is seen as a romantic date night, or possibly the most romantic date night of the year. And honestly, if you're seen on Christmas Eve without somebody, you might be labeled as a lonely person by some people within the culture. I think the most comparable thing in our culture would be like Valentine's Day. Just think about it. You're out on a chilly December evening, and you're going with your special someone to view all of the romantic lights that have been set up in some of the most famous parts of Japan. And as, it starts to get a little bit later, it's getting colder, and so you curl up a little bit closer to each other to keep warm, and you decide to go out for a traditional Japanese Christmas dinner. And so you go out and you buy some fried chicken from KFC. Yeah, that's right, Kentucky Fried Chicken. In Japan, it's one of the staple foods for your dinner meal on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You'll actually have to pre-order this weeks in advance if you want to have Kentucky Fried Chicken from the bucket on that day. And honestly, there's only two main foods that are brought up when you think about Christmas in Japan, and that's fried chicken from KFC, particularly, or a thing called Christmas cake, which is basically a strawberry cake that's really airy and fluffy. However, it can come in a number of different other flavors, but strawberry is the most traditional flavor. So, why is KFC so big in Japan on Christmas? Well, it goes back to 1970 when Takeshi Okawara, who was a manager inside of the first KFC in Japan, started a combo pack called the Party Barrel, which was supposed to be kind of like a Christmas meal in Japan because turkey wasn't prevalent in Japan at the time. Then, in 1974, KFC opened up a Christmas meal campaign where they locked in the perception in Japan that we in America eat KFC for Christmas. They kept on with this campaign every year, and eventually, KFC became synonymous with Christmas in Japan. Now, with that out of the way, there's actually only two other holidays or festivals that I want to mention in the month of December. The first I'd like to mention is the Namahage Matsuri, which takes place on December 31st on the Oga Peninsula in the Akita Prefecture. On the Oga Peninsula on December 31st, different villages will practice an old folklore tradition where men will dress up as Namahage and they will go to family households and they will scare the children and warn them not to be lazy in the upcoming year. I haven't been to this festival personally, but I really want to go see it. And finally, from December 31st to January 1st, in Itoman City, Okinawa, you can find the Mabani Hi to Kane no Matsuri, which is held in remembrance of the people that passed away during World War II with lit torches, followed by a prayer for peace, and then a bell to mark the beginning of the new year. And in addition to all of the festivals mentioned in this video, there are so many more in the month of December. And so, I listed just a few more inside of the description for this video that weren't brought up in this video. And also, there were a number of illumination events that I brought up inside my November in Japan video. And so I didn't bring them up in this video. If you'd like to check those out, check out the card above. Also, in the comments below, let me know what your Christmas is like. Do you celebrate it with family or friends? Hey, maybe you eat KFC for Christmas too. I'm not judging. But hey, I'd love to honestly hear about what you experience for Christmas. Maybe you live in another country and you have a totally different view of Christmas than mentioned in this video, or in Western culture, or in Japan. Either way. Also, if you like this content and found it helpful or informative, please remember to smash that like button. And if you really like our content, make sure you hit the notification bell and turn on notifications, because here at Dyce Quirk, we're all about helping you experience Japan. And so we don't want you missing out on any of that. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching our video, and Dyce Quirk out.